Hi everybody, welcome back, and this is another video pertaining to the 400 small block Chevy heads and transferring steam hose to aftermarket aluminum heads. And the pair of heads that I have here is the Speedway Automotive 461 double humps. And for the money, I think they may be one of the best deals out there. That's just my opinion, and if you don't agree with that, that's fine. You're entitled to that. But first off, I'd like to apologize for a video I put out yesterday for anybody that was offended, but I felt like I had to address some issues with people and that basically trolls in the comment section. They're just you know, a pain in the ass, and I don't appreciate it, and really nobody should. You know, if people would treat each other with common respect, then respect will be given back and the world would be a much better place. But all that aside, I would just like to get down to the meat and potatoes of what I have here, because I finally have all my materials to make the jig plate that I was talking about, and I just want to give you a talk and a description about how I'm going to proceed with it, because the real work is going to be making the jig plate. Drilling the holes in a cylinder head afterwards is going to be a piece of cake. And the beauty about this is that this jig plate can be used over and over and over and over again, with no need to lay out holes on the heads. You know, no need to use a head gasket as a template and transfer punch hole locations, you know, and then go to all that mess. There's no need for it then. Once you got the jig plate made, it's a done deal, and you can have a set of heads on the bench, and you can take two heads then, and if you need to drill steam holes in them because you're going to fit a certain head on a 400 for a small block Chevy 400, then you can have it done in a little over 5 minutes. As long as you're as long as you have some common sense and you go about the right approach. I know that's asking a lot of some people anymore. It just seems like common sense and maturity are just not cool anymore. Anyways, I just want to get past that whole scenario. Like I said before, if you have an old 400 small block Chevy passenger car block, I'm not talking about bow tie blocks, aftermarket high performance blocks. I'm talking about 400 small block Chevys that were produced from 1970 to 1980. They have these steam holes in between the cylinder walls because they have Siamese cylinders. Now, I understand that the bow tie blocks that you can put up to over 4 1/8 inch bores in them or have Siamese cylinders, and some aftermarket blocks have Siamese cylinders, but they also have reinforced decks. So you won't experience the problems that you will with the production car blocks. And one of the reasons why I have a production car block is because, you know, we bought the car that it came in 40 years ago for $50, and the fella selling it to us, my dad and I at the time, told us it was a 350 with a turbo 350 transmission, and you know, we were interested in the drivetrain. The car was a 1973 Caprice Estate station wagon. It was a big ass car, and it had a 10-bolt industrial positive traction mirror end that was, oh my gosh, that thing was a beast. Most of the parts that I got off that car I sold a long time ago. I still have the transmission, which is a not a turbo 350, it's a turbo 375, and you know, please don't give me a bunch of crap in the comment section about it being a turbo 375. It does exist. It's stamped, it's right on the bottom of the tail shaft housing. Turbo 375. It's just a shortened version of a Turbo 400, and so that came with it, which was heavier duty transmission than a Turbo 350. And the engine in this Caprice happened to be a 400, so that's what I have. And you know, down through the years, I hung on to it. It really was never put to any use. It was completely rebuilt with 70s style dished pistons, which was 64cc heads. Will put it up to about 10-to-1 compression, which would be fine with these aluminum heads. Gets a little higher compression ratios of cast iron heads, especially with the cheaper gas. Gets a little kind of sketchy, but you know, you be the judge of that on your own. That's not the focus here, so I'm going to stop rambling about that, but I am going to get down to the nitty-gritty here and show you what I have as far as the parts go to make his jig plate. Number one is a plan. This is the Chevrolet power manual that I bought from Apple Chevrolet many years ago, probably at least 25 years ago now. You know, this particular one's not in print. You might be able to find it at a swap meet or something on sale at somebody's stand. But in here is a very nice drawing of a cross section of what would be a stock cast iron 400 cylinder head from the factory, probably something like a 441, a 997, 993 casting. Some of the other heads, like the 882s, I would get rid of them and find heavier castings, because they're lighter weight cast iron small block Chevy heads are just they're prone to crack and overheat and give you all kind of problems. And up here is the dimensions for the steam hole locations, referenced off of the first dowel pin hole. And then down here is a cross section of the cylinder head, which shows you that the 3/16 hole on the intake side is drilled 10 degrees away from the intake, more for clearance from the cylinder head bolt hole. And then on the exhaust side is the 1/4 inch steam hole, which is drilled perpendicular to the deck. It's straight. And let me set this down here for a moment. Right here I have a tie wrap that goes between the combustion chambers on the stock 400 head, because the water jacket goes straight through there. Aluminum head, it doesn't. It's solid, and you're going to have to drill on the intake side. You're going to have to go a little deeper and on a little bit of an angle, more of an angle, excuse me. You're going to have to drill it out a little bit more of an angle away from the intake to reach a water jacket, and that's going to be about 20 to 30 degrees. You know, that's kind of arbitrary. You know, I've seen some people, they drill it, they do it with 20-degree angles, they do it with 30-degree angles, and if it works, fine. I might come up with 25. Hey, make that my trademark hole drilling angle, whatever. So, going back to the plate. What I have to start with is a 1/4 inch thick, 6 inch wide, 36 inch long piece of aluminum that I ordered. And I just got this today, and I waited for a while for it. That's the one thing that was holding me up. I guess everybody and their brothers getting a piece of aluminum for Christmas. Boy, yeah, just what everybody wants for Christmas. If you can't find the right tie for your brother-in-law, ladies, buy him a piece of aluminum. I'm sure he'd love it. I know I would. It's not so much the aluminum that I get excited about, it's what I can do with it. And next on the agenda are my drill bushings. I have 3 1/4 inch inside diameter drill bushings that'll correspond with the 3/4 inch holes on the exhaust side of the head. Now these are here. These are the 3/16. These are the 1/4 inch drill bushings. These are the 3/16 bushings. And I don't know why I got so many of these lock screws for the drill bushings, but I got, wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 6 lock screws, but they sent me 8. Well, I got enough to do 2 plates in the future. I got 12 screws, so maybe that was a mistake on my part, because I was originally planning on making 2 plates. Thought maybe somebody would want to buy one from me down the road, but this isn't exactly a cheap project. So if you are planning on doing this at home on your own, I'm just going to warn you ahead of time that it's like $40 for the piece of aluminum, and then by the time you get the screws and then the drill bushings, you're going to have about 150 bucks, including shipping. Yeah, 150 bucks tied up in this. But the beauty of it is that it can be used over and over again, and it's going to be extremely convenient. You just clamp your plate down to the cylinder head and you drill the holes by hand. No need for time-consuming, cumbersome setups on a drill press or a milling machine. No need to fuss around drilling it by hand and worrying about getting it. It's just drilling stuff by hand can just be a real bitch, and we just want to avoid the bitch with a capital bitch part of it. And again, if you don't like my idea, you don't have to do it. You don't even have to watch my video. I even turn the background music off for the bitchers and complainers about the background music. If you don't like it, fine. But if I decide to put background music on a little later, I'm going to do it. It's my channel. It's my prerogative. And I got for the 3/16 holes that are drilled at an angle, which we're not really sure how deep it goes. I did get a slightly longer drill, which is a 3/16 taper length drill. That came. That was about $7. Got and aluminum cutting fluid. If you're going to work on aluminum, it's always advised. I advise it. I will always advise using some kind of lubricant or cutting fluid on aluminum that'll keep your cutter or your saw blade or drill from clogging up with chips and, of course, breaking your tool off. You know, that happens. It's happened to me, and it's happened to just about anybody that's worked with aluminum at some point. So I'm going to flip the camera off here real second, and I'll be back in a jiffy. Okay, I'm back. If you could just imagine that this is the finished jig plate. I know that's asking for a lot, but for some people. But all you have to do then is just bolt that to the cylinder head surface, and everything is ready to be drilled. On your cylinder heads, oh, and I am going to stop saying so much. At least I'm going to try to make a conscious effort of it, so please bear with me on that. And I do have a minor speech impediment, so yes, Michelangelo. I didn't forget about that. I'll try to work on that too. Oh, by the way, I can say Chevrolet, even though it is a 3-syllable word. Not 3 silly bulls, 3 silly bulls. I don't know, 3 silly bulls sound like they need to be in a barnyard, but yeah, Michelangelo, hi. Yeah, I remember you. But anyway, In your Chevy head, you got the dowel pinholes located on the block. Okay, that's quite the common knowledge, but that's what we're going to use to accurately locate the jig plate to the cylinder head. They're located approximately 18 inches apart. They're going to be laid out on, and on the jig plate we'll have something to be locating pins, not dowel pins. I don't want to have to freaking tap this thing on and then be prying it off. Okay, I'm going to use something a little bit undersized, probably just maybe just like 1/8 inch screws would be enough. They'd be accurate enough as long as your hole locations are true and located right in the right place, and it's holding your jig plates just square to the head, and just put it on in and bolt it down and it'll be good to go. And what I'm waiting for now is I got to get my milling machine set up. You know, yesterday I kind of went on a rant and rave about life, and you know, so I am separated from my wife. We've been separated for about a year now, and this is not my shop. This is my dad's, and he's kind enough to have let me do this here. But I'm going to have to get a milling machine set up and get to work on this thing, and when I do, I will be more than happy to post the progress of it and how it's coming along. Okay, so this is a rough idea of what it will look like when it's finished, with the bushings and the lock screws laid out on it. You have your 3/16 bushings in the back here that will be installed at an angle, the arbitrary angle of between 20 and 30 degrees. Like I said, I might be original and go with 25. But they'll already be installed at an angle. 3 places here, and then you have your 1/4 inch drill bushings on the opposite side. Just they'll be installed straight in. They'll be perpendicular to the deck surface, and then you have what will be the location for your dowel pin holes here and here, and then there will be some clearance holes for screws to clamp it to the cylinder head. Easy enough. So that's where we're at so far. I think it's going to be a fun project for me. And if you're interested in following along, be my guest. If you don't care to, be my guest not to. And if you have any comments, please leave them as respectful and to the point as you possibly can, because if you want to be a jerk, I don't want to have to be turning the comment section off because people are a-holes. I do like the majority of the comments that people put on YouTube, but some people are just ugly. So the next time I bring these heads back out will probably be when we're ready to start drilling holes in them, because I got some work to do on the plate, and when I get to that point, I'd really like to post the construction. There's my speech impediment again, Michael. I would like to post my construction progress. Oh, and by the way, you know, another thing for you, Michael, is that, like I mentioned, about my education level and my speech impediment, and what I've done for a living for the past 30 years. And I've also, I've had the pleasure of training a lot of young people throughout the years in the tool and die field. And you know what? They just don't leave that responsibility up to anybody. So when you start making comments and mocking somebody you don't know, don't be surprised if somebody, if it comes back at you because you threw the ball in the court. Don't be shocked when somebody picks it up and runs with it and turns around and makes an ass out of you. It's just the way it is, and I don't mind calling people out on their stupidity, but um, it'll take me a little bit of time to get over that. Just bear with me. So, but even after that crazy rant I went on yesterday, I did gain one more subscriber. Imagine that. Somebody must have liked it. But no, nobody liked it. I only got 9 views on it. Thank God. I don't want the whole world to see it, but it's just something I felt needed to be addressed. But anyways, we're going to get back to the cylinder heads. And I also have some other unrelated videos I'd like to make about some equipment that I have for the Mr. Heater portable buddy heaters. And refillable 1 pound bottles. Yes, they do make refillable 1 pound bottles. They're not cheap to start with, but it could be economical if you're somebody that likes to use your Mr. Buddy heater. And I have 2 ways they can be refilled. One is the Mr. Buddy refill valve, and the other one is a quite elaborate setup by Flame King. So I have both, and I just want to do a comparison of them. And I'd be I'd feel honored if you'd stick around and watch that then too. So with that, I'm going to stop rambling and I will sign off. And until next time, have a wonderful holiday and be safe.